and it is government service. This is going to be voluminous. Look at this. How many pages we have to do? One service. How many pages we have to do? It goes on and on and on up to page 45. So 20 pages of one service. This is going to be little tedious, but let us do it. Yes. I'm on page 25. First negative service, 66D small a, services by government or local authority. What he's saying is like this. Services provided by government and local authorities are negative services. Are you okay with that? बोलता है, बाकी का पोर्शन बाद में पढ़ेंगे, बोलता है basically services provided by government and local authorities are negative services. But बाद में बोलता है excluding. 2 negative is equal to 1 positive. So what I have understood, generally services provided by government and local authorities are negative, but following 4 services when provided by government and local authority are taxable services. Are you okay with that? We are going to make it very easy. Don't worry about it. Then there is one line, to the extent they are not covered elsewhere. This line I am going to keep pending for 5 minutes. We are going to complete this line on page 27. 5 minutes के लिए मैं इसको pending रखता हूँ. What are the 4 taxable services? Services by Department of Post, by way of speed post, express parcel post, and agency services are provided to government are taxable services. यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Services provided by post, but not all services. Speed post service, parcel post service, and any kind of agency service provided to non-government is taxable. इसका मतलब है, even if today Department of Post is providing speed post service to state government of Maharashtra, it continues to be negative. यहाँ पे लिखा है these 3 services. First of all, what is saying is the basic services provided by post are continues to be negative. But 3 services when provided by government, which are those 3 services? Speed post service, express parcel post service, and agency services, when provided to non-government are taxable services. Then he says, services in relation to aircraft or a vessel inside or outside the part of port or airport are taxable. Third point, he says, transport of goods and passenger services are taxable. And fourth point, any service other than services covered under clause 1 to 3 above provided to business entity are taxable services. Fourth point के लिए क्या क्लासिफिकेशन है, क्या रिस्ट्रिक्शन है? फोर्थ में any service is covered, but any service other than 1 to 3 above. So if government has provided transportation of passenger service, it will not fall under 4th category because it falls under 3rd category. 3rd category, he says, पहले word any service को समझते हैं. Any service means any service other than 1 to 3 above. And it is taxable only if it is provided to business entity. So if it is provided to individual, it continues to be negative service. We are going to study all this, but generally I have understood 5 things. What are the 5 things? Generally, services provided by government and local authorities are negative services, but following 4, when provided by government and local authority, are taxable. First, services provided by post department, services like speed post, parcel post, and agency services provided to non-government are taxable. Services provided in relation to aircraft and vessels inside or outside port or airport are taxable. Services provided by government in relation to transportation of goods and passengers are taxable. And any service other than 1 to 3 above provided to business entity are taxable. We are going to study this, but once read the opening lines, 4 points. So, first we have to learn what do you mean by government and what do you mean by local authorities. They have already been defined. Government definition is important for us from examination point of view because it is introduced by Finance Act 2015. What is government? What do you mean by government? Central government and its department, state government and its department, and union territories and its department is what you mean by government. But government does not include any entity, the accounts of which are not to be maintained as per Article 150 of the Constitution. यहाँ पे what I have done, I have reproduced Article 150 of the Constitution and government accounting rules. Hello, पहले concept समझना. If you read both Article 150 of the Constitution and government accounting rules, what is the conclusion? Who is supposed to maintain books of accounts as per Article 150 of the Constitution? If you read that, again they have said same thing. Only central government and its department, state government and its department, and union territories and its department are supposed to maintain books of accounts as per Article 150 of the Constitution. Having read this and having read the definition, conclusion is very simple. What do you mean by government? Central government and its department, state government and its department, union territories government and its department is government. For example, I am asking you question whether RBI is government, and the answer is no. Because if you read Article 150 and if you read the government accounting rules, Article 150 is not applicable to RBI. Conclusion, all those bodies which government has floated under some special act are not government. Only central government and its department, state government and its department, union territories and its department is what you understand as government. Please read this portion. What do you mean by government? That I have explained you. Okay. What do you mean by local authority? Here, general understanding is enough. This definition is not important for examination because it is not newly introduced. But what do you mean by local authority? Here in Vashi, it is Vashi Municipal Corporation. If it is a village, it is Panchayat. If it is a colony where armed forces are situated, like Army, Navy, Air Force, then it is called as Cantonment Board. If it is area which is migrating from rural area to urban, it is called as Development Board. For few states, few other names have been given, but like Panchayat, Municipality, Municipal Committee, Cantonment Board, Regional Council, Development Board, Regional Council. What I am trying to say, depending on the need of the area, under different articles of Constitution, local government is formed. For example, if it is a village, it is called as Panchayat, and that is what you call it as local authority. That is the definition of local authority. Basically, municipality for us. So, now I am on page number 26. Page number 26, we are going to complete first three. First three is very simple, nothing great, no expected question, rather IPCC question. All questions for CA final should be out of 4, any service. First three is very simple. We are going to finish here and here only. Page number 26. What I have discussed here, let me explain you. The basic postal services continues to be negative. What is basic postal service, sir? What is basic postal service? Postcard service, inland postal order, like pay order, you can buy postal order. Then saving bank account opening. Then money transfer. These are the 5 services provided which are called as basic services, which continue to be negative. Not every service provided by postal department is taxable. Only 3 services are taxable. What I am trying to say, the basic postal services continues to be negative. I have also explained you what is basic postal services. I said postcards, I said inland cards, I said normal register ID, I said postal order like money order, I said saving bank account. These are the normal postal services. They continue to be negative. Only 3 services provided by post department are taxable. Which are those 3? Speed post service, parcel post, express parcel post service, and agency kind of services. And that too, these services are taxable only when they have been provided to non-government. So Maharashtra state government wanted to send one courier to Delhi, and for that they have opted for speed post service. Postal department has provided service to state government of Maharashtra, speed post service. Is it taxable? It continues to be negative. But one point, Vashi Municipal Corporation wanted to send one courier to Delhi. Postal department has provided the service. Is it taxable? Answer is yes. Not good idea. There he should have written or local authorities. वो लिखना भूल गया है. That is not my problem. But that become a question. That can become a question. Are you there? Logically उसने लिखना चाहिए था postal services provided to government and local authorities other than government and local. But वो लिखना भूल गया. That is a fallacy. But that makes it a question. So my conclusion, postal, those 3 category of services provided to government continues to be negative, but provided to local or any other person becomes taxable. Whole this area above the earth belongs to government, it belongs to us. All the airliners are using them for flying, for navigation. Aircrafts are using for for that they have to pay some charges to the government. They are using airport authorities for landing, for parking the aircraft, for unloading of the goods, for unloading of the disembarking of the passengers. So many facilities are used by those airliners. And when it comes to port trust, vessels will come to the port trust. They will unload goods. Loading of the goods will take place. Fueling, repair, maintenance will take place. इसके लिए लिख के रखा है, any service provided by government or local authority to vessels or aircraft, whether inside port or airport or whether outside port or airport, is taxable service. And लिखा है, any service provided by services provided by government or local authorities in relation to transportation of goods and passengers are taxable services. Okay, so that is the conclusion about page number 26, first 3 services. Now I am on page number 27. On page 27, what we are doing is that line which we are kept pending, we are going to study. एक मिनट sir, एक मिनट. Page number 25, excluding the following services के बाद में जो line था, to the extent they are not covered elsewhere, that is the line we are going to study on page 27. Sir, they are not government. They are not government. Sir, जैसे कि which is the example, RBI, Security Exchange Board of India, Insurance Regulatory Authority, they are not government. Are they central government? No. Are they government departments? No. They are not governments. So that line I want to study. Before we study that, let me ask you one question. Government is providing services of transportation of passengers by vessel. Is it taxable service? खाली 66D3, you are supposed to read only 66D3 and give me one answer. My question to you, sir, government is providing services of transportation of passenger by vessel. Is it taxable service? Yes. 66D3 में लिखा हुआ है, services provided by government or local authorities which are in relation to transportation of goods or passenger are not negative service, they are taxable service. Are you okay with that? But now you read 66O4, अपना list of negative service है, कहाँ है? Page number 23-24. उसमें O is on page number 24. I am reading O for you. services of transportation of passenger with or without accompanied belonging by. Point number 4, inland waterways. Inland waterways, we are going to study negative services, but example deta hu. This is India, and for example, there is a river flowing from place A to place B, and this is called as inland waterways. Inland waterways. Are you okay with that? All transportation of goods and passengers by rivers is inland waterways. Now, if you are providing services of transportation of goods or passengers by inland waterways, 6604 बोलता है it is negative services. Are you okay with that? Now my question to you, state government of Maharashtra has started transportation of passenger service by inland waterways. Is it, having read both, is it taxable or is it negative service? Can I say other negativities available under the act are equally available to government services? And that is why I am saying to the extent they are not covered elsewhere. To the extent they are not covered elsewhere. So what I am trying to say, transportation of passenger service provided by government is taxable service subject to other negativities under the act. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? I have one more question. Read 66D3 and tell me, state government of Maharashtra has started GTA service, Goods Transport Agency service, and whether it is taxable service or not. My question to you, state government of Maharashtra has started GTA service, Goods Transport Agency service. अगर आपको आपके गुड्स एक जगह से दूसरे जगह भेजना है, प्राइवेट ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑपरेटर के पास जाओ या तो स्टेट ट्रांसपोर्ट के पास जाओ. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र इज ऑल्सो ऑफरिंग GTA सर्विस of transportation of goods. Whether, having read 66D3, whether it is taxable service? Answer is yes. But एक exemption आपको पढ़ना है. Exemption is given by 25 of 2012. Exemption is given by number 21A, which you can find on page number 136. Hello, before you read that, what is 25 2012? Mega exemption notification. It has 63 parts. उसमें से पार्ट नंबर 21 का सब पार्ट नंबर ए पढ़ो, विच यू विल फाइंड ऑन पेज 136. I am on page 136. I am reading 21 number for you. Services provided by Goods Transport Agency by way of transportation in goods carriage A of agricultural produce is exempt service. Now the question is, state government of Maharashtra, which has started GTA service, has provided a service to a farmer where farm produce was transferred from village to the city. Reading 66D3, is it taxable? Yes. But whether this exemption will be equally applicable? Yes. And there will be no service tax liability. Can I say those 4 services are taxable subject to other negativities under the act and subject to other exemptions under the act? And that is why I am saying it is taxable to the extent they are not covered elsewhere. Are you okay with that? That was my conclusion, which I have drawn on page number 27. Anybody has any question? Same thing I have written on page number 27. देखो आपको ऐसे पढ़ना है. पहले मेरे को बताओ, कंक्लूजन नंबर 1 है यहाँ पे. All other negativities under the act are equally applicable to government services. Yes. Conclusion number 2. All exemptions available under the act, are they equally applicable to government services? Yes. Final conclusion क्या है? All negativities under the act and all exemptions available under the act are equally applicable to government services. That's the final conclusion. Today break at 9 o'clock. We are going to work up to 11:15. Thank you. I'm on page 28. Hey, here I'm talking about reverse charge. What do you mean by reverse charge and who talks about it? 68.2 and नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 30 ऑफ 2012. सो यहाँ पे मैंने एक रिवर्स चार्ज कॉपी किया है, कॉपी पेस्ट किया है. जरूर मैंने मेरे बुक के उस पोर्शन से किया था जहां रिवर्स चार्ज पढ़ने वाले. एक बार चेक करते हैं कि सच में है कि मैं फेंक रहा हूं. पेज 261 देखो, पेज 261, पेज 261. आज एक बार पेज घुमाना पड़ेगा, बाद में कभी घुमाना नहीं. इधर कॉपी पेस्ट करके रखा है. I have copy pasted this portion here. Just once we will check it because we are starting. So अभी देखो यहाँ पे लिखा है वो reverse charge जो मैंने copy paste किया. This is the reverse charge which I copy pasted here. And if you run through the previous pages, it is nothing but 68.2 वाला portion. Page number 251, that portion starts 68.1, 68.2. Then we have studied one by one all reverse charge and which is followed by notification number 30 of 2012. From there, one reverse charge I have copy pasted here on page 28. Are you okay with that? You have understood this. You can write down here maybe that you have copy pasted it from page 261. Maybe. Can you please study this reverse charge and can you please tell me what he is saying? Don't look at the conclusion. Try to read that. That will increase your skills. Can you please read that reverse charge? Okay, what he's saying is like this. 66D, negative services A, services provided by government and local authorities following 4 are taxable services. 1, service 3 services provided by Postal Department. For that, there is no reverse charge. 2, services provided in relation to vessels and aircraft. For that, there is no reverse charge. 3, services provided by government or local authorities in relation to transportation of goods and passenger. For that, there is no reverse charge. 4, what is 4? Any service provided by government to business entities. We have to understand it into 2 categories. एक है renting of immovable property. For that, there is no reverse charge. And एक है others. Anything other than 1, 2, 3, 4 above and renting of immovable property. And there is a reverse charge. That is what he is saying. So, Postal Department has provided speed post service to Reliance Industries Limited. Is reverse charge applicable? No. So, Postal Department will charge 10,000 plus 1,500. They will charge service tax SBC in the invoice, collect it from Reliance and pay it to the government. Liability to pay service tax will be on Postal Department. There is no reverse charge. Suppose you are traveling by Indian Railways, transportation of passenger service, taxable hai. They will charge you fare 1,000. On that, there is some abatement, but we have not studied that. So, 1,000 plus 150 service tax. Railways will charge that in the ticket. They will collect it from you and they will pay it to the government because for transportation of goods and passengers also there is no reverse charge. Bombay Municipal Corporation, can you answer my question? Bombay Municipal Corporation has given hall on rent for marriage of Mr. A. Is there service tax liability? No. It's a service, any service provided other than 1, 2, 3 above, it is taxable only when it is provided to business entity. I said Mr. A marriage. No. Acha. Bombay Municipal Corporation has given hall on rent to Reliance Industries Limited for their conference. Is there service tax liability? Is there reverse charge? No. Because for renting of immovable property also there is no reverse charge. My last question to you, Mumbai Police has provided security service to Reliance. Reliance was to conduct their AGM in Wankhede Stadium. They require security. It is any service provided to business entity not falling into 1, 2, 3 above. For that, is there reverse charge? Yes. Mumbai police will charge 1 lakh rupees to Reliance. Reliance will pay service tax liability to central government, because for any service other than renting of immovable property provided to business entity, there is a reverse charge. This is the table for that. Are you comfortable with this? The question on this page is pending. This I have explained. This is pending. My one question to you: Postal Department has provided speed post service to Bombay Municipal Corporation. No, sorry. Postal Department has provided speed post service to State Government of Maharashtra. Taxable or negative? Negative. Postal Department has provided speed post service to Reliance Industries Limited. Taxable or negative? Taxable. Is reverse charge applicable? No. So Postal Department is person liable to pay service tax? Whether they will have to get registered under service tax? Yes. Wherever there is no reverse charge, for example, Postal Department providing speed post service, there is no reverse charge. So person liable to pay will be Postal Department. Like any other SSE, even Postal Department will have to get registered under service tax. That is my question. Whether even central government, state government and local authorities, even when they have service tax liability, even whether they will have to get registered under service tax as a normal SSE, answer is yes. Because they will be issuing invoice, they will be collecting service tax, they will be paying it to the government. So like a normal SSE, they will also have to get registered under service tax. That is the question with the answer. That brings me on page number 29. Now we start the real study of 66DA4. What we are going to study is, in the amended form, any service other than 1, 2, 3 above provided by government or local authority to business entity is taxable service. That is our focus study now. But first, let us understand what do you mean by business entity. Business entity is already defined. Business entity means any person. First condition, it has to be person. Do you know what do you mean by person? Yes, individual, partnership firm, HUF, AOP, BOI, government, local authority, or any other artificial LLP or any other artificial judiciary person not falling in above categories is person. To make it a business entity, first it has to be a person and it has to do an activity. The focus words ke upar rakhna. It has to do an activity which is in relation to industry, business or profession. Hello, it is not required to do business or profession. It has to do an activities in relation to industry, business or profession. Hello, point to be noted, to make it a business entity, it can be state owned or it can be non-state or privately owned. It may have profit motive, it may not have profit motive. So whether it is state undertaking or a private undertaking is not relevant. Whether it has a profit motive or not is not relevant. Is it a person? Yes. And is it doing any activity in relation to industry, business or profession? It is becoming a business entity. So even government is a business entity, even local authorities are business entity. Sole proprietor, I am a small time shopkeeper having 200 square feet shop, grocery shop. Am I a business entity? Am I a person? Yes, individual is a person. Am I doing any activity in relation to business, industry or profession? Yes, even a small time individual grocery shop run by a sole proprietor is also business entity. Final conclusion. For making it a business entity, whether it is privately owned or publicly owned is irrelevant. To decide business entity, whether they have profit motive or no profit motive is also irrelevant. Only if it is a person and it is doing any activity in relation to industry, business or profession, it will become entity. Most important conclusion, even government and local authorities are also business entities. Please complete study of page 29. फोकस स्टडी रखो, डेली 1.5 आवर का बैकअप दे दो. माई प्रॉमिस टू यू, दिस विल बिकम अ केक वॉक फॉर यू. गवर्नमेंट सर्विस, आई नो इट इज बिग इनफ, बट 45 मिनट्स में रिवीजन हो सकता है. निगेटिव सर्विस टोटल चैप्टर इज वॉल्यूमस, बट निगेटिव सर्विस कैन बी रिवाइज्ड इन 2 आवर्स. अपना टाइम एलोकेशन क्लियर है. प्लीज टेल मी बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स, whatever we have done, can you revise it in half an hour? Having given one proper backup, then onwards, can you revise it in half an hour? Your answer should be yes. Like that only, negative services, we have 2 hours allocation. Like that, slowly when we progress, you will realize that whole service tax can be revised in 1 day. We want to come to that stage, and if you cooperate daily, if you back up 1.5 hours, I have promised that you will come to that stage at the end of 12 lectures. You will be able to revise service tax in 1 day, and service tax become your favorite subject. I am on page number 30. This is a page where some general discussion is taking place. First of all, what point I want to bring to your notice, conclusion I will draw first. If government is doing some activity, whether service tax, whether it is any service provided, to make it taxable, first we have to decide whether it amounts to service. What do you mean by service? We are experts of that. In basic concept, we have already studied that. What makes it a service? To make it a service, there has to be any person here. It will be a government. It has to do activity. Activity can be active activity or passive activity. It has to be done for, and it has to be done for business entity, and it has to be done for consideration. Consideration can be monetary or non-monetary. Before we decide whether there is a service tax liability in the given transaction, government or local authority are doing some activity and we want to decide whether they have service tax liability. To decide that, first we should decide whether it amounts to service. Because if it amounts to service, and if it does not fall into 1, 2, 3 above, then certainly it will, and if it is done for business entity, certainly there is going to be service tax liability. Are you there with me? It's not very difficult. 66DA4 may fall hone ke liye what is necessary. First, it should amount to service. Second, is it done for business entity? Yes. And is it other than 1, 2, 3 above? 1, 2, 3 matlab postal wo wala. 1, 2, 3 above. Yes, it's a taxable service. Subject to other negativities and subject to some exemption. But just because it amounts to statutory service of the government, we cannot say there is no service tax liability. Remove that notion. Yes, many statutory services have been separately exempted. But to decide service tax liability, first we check whether it amounts to service and whether it fulfills. Whether service provider is government, yes. Whether they are doing any activity, yes. Whether there is a contractual relationship, yes. Whether service receiver is business entity, yes. There is a consideration. Then though it is statutory service, subject to other negativities and subject to other exemptions, it will be taxable service. That is my first conclusion. I handled first question here. You can read that. एक question पढ़ते so that your job is easy. Here I have explained only the first question on page 30. Exempted है, आगे पढ़ना बाकी है. We are going to read that. We will read so many exemptions. I'll be able to answer your question in 10 minutes. Now I'm talking about the second question. What about income tax collected by government? Or what about excise duty collected by government? Does it amount to service? And is there service tax liability? Because if there is service tax liability, on income tax you will have to add service tax. Whether it amounts to service and whether there is a service tax liability. Hello, government is there, business entity is there, and business entity is paying income tax of 1 lakh rupees. But where is the activity? where government has done activity. No, it is as per law that because you have earned income, business entity has done some activity, they have earned income, and on that they are paying tax. So the activity portion is missing, and that is why on all taxes, cess, duties collected by government, they don't amount to service, and there is no service tax liability. That is my second question. That is my second question. Third question. You have broken a signal and RTO has collected 100 rupees from you as a fine. Whether it amounts to service and is there service tax liability? Again, if you check this, you have not done any service. Government has not done any service. You have broken the law. You have broken the signal, and that is why they have charged you the fine or penalty. So fine and penalties for breach of laws also does not amount to service. So fine and penalties के ऊपर भी there is no service tax liability. That is my third question. Fourth question is like this. Bombay Municipal Corporation, that is local authority, has given one contract to contractor. Contractor is business entity. As per the contract, contractor was supposed to construct one bridge. Contract amount was 100 crores and bridge was to be constructed in 1 year. Are you okay with that? Bombay Municipal Corporation has given one contract to a contractor who is a business entity. You have to construct this bridge 100 crores 1 year. But उसमें एक clause था. If you are not able to complete it in 1 year and you delay the project per month, you have to pay 5 lakh rupees as penalty. Here, contractor could complete it only in 14 months, and that is why he has paid penalty of 10 lakh rupees. Is any service involved in this? And is there any service tax liability? Now first, let us discuss whether this amounts to service. And this amounts to service 66E small e. Declared services, passive service. We have not studied this, but we are going to study it in one of the lecture. Here, Bombay Municipal Corporation has tolerated an act of delay in projects of the contractor, and for that he has paid compensation of 10 lakh rupees. This will amount to passive service provided by government or local authority to contractor, and it certainly amounts to service. But after some time we are going to study one exemption, entry number 57. Passive services provided by government or local authority have been separately exempted. We have not studied this, but immediately after some time we are going to study. But I have answered two questions. Whether passive service provided by the government, where government has tolerated an act of business entity for which some compensation has been paid by business entity to government, whether it will amount to service. Answer is yes. It is a declared service 66E small e, which is passive service. Now the second question is there any service tax liability? Answer is no, because after some time we are going to study entry number 57. Specific entry hai, which says passive services provided by government and local authorities to business entities have been exempted from service tax. That is my next question. Last question at the bottom of this page is pending. Last question goes like this. Hello, there is government. Government has done one act like registration of documents for business entities, and for that business entities has paid fees. Whenever government is doing some activities for business entities, and for doing those activities if government is charging some fees, whether it will amount to service and whether there should be service tax liability. Now here my answer is yes, because service provider is there, service receiver is there, activity is there, and consideration is there. All constituents of being a service are present in this transaction, subject to available negativities, subject to other exemptions. This will amount to service. Whether service tax liability arises, that depends on the exemptions. Fourth question, last question, I have given a separate issue altogether. Here, certainly government has done some activity for business entity and for which business entity has paid fees. If all these constituents are present, income tax was not this case. Income tax, there was government, there was business entity, but there was no activity. But now I am saying one case, government is there, they are doing some activity is done for business entity, and for that business entity is paying some amount, maybe in terms of fees. Whether it will amount to service? Answer is yes. Subject to exemptions, it will be taxable. Please complete study of page 30. Very important concepts we have discussed here. Now what we are planning to do is study all exemptions. First, let me tell you what is so specific about page number 31, 32, 33 and 34 and 35. Mark page number 31 to 35. Hello, बाकी सब exemptions are talking about government and local authorities. But ये जो pages है, page number 31, 32, 33, 34 and 35, they are talking about government, local authority and government authority. So बाकी के सब exemptions बाद में पढ़ेंगे, but जो page 31 से 35 है, word used is government, local authority and government authority. So you can mark those pages. At the top of page 31 to 35 you can write down that this is regarding government, local authority and government authority. All other exemptions are only talking about government and local authority. We have already defined government. We have already defined government, local authority. So what do you mean by government authority? We need to define that. And page 31 is for that. What do you mean by government authority? We are sure what do you mean by government. We are sure what do you mean by local authorities. What is government authority? Here on page number 31, I can see definition of government authority. Here I can see that government authority means an authority or a board or any other body set up by an act of parliament or state legislature or established by government with 90% or more participation by way of equity or control to carry out any functions entrusted to municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution. To make it a government authority, it should be under an act of parliament or act of state legislature. Parliament, Constitution of India, state legislature, state level acts, state level legislatures. That is first thing. Or it should be established by government. So that was amendment actually. 2014 that was amended. So government has created a board which is not under any state legislature or parliament act, but it is established by government. Whether it has 90% or more participation and control by government, yes, it will also amount to government authority. Being made under Parliament Act or under State Legislature Act is compromised. Even if it is established by government with 90% control, still it is government authority. Please understand this concept. ये words बाद में introduced हुए. Established by government. Are you okay with that? So though it is not under state legislature, though it is not under Parliament Act, but is it established by government? Yes. Does government has more than 90% control? Yes, it is government authority. But there is one more condition. It has to carry out functions entrusted to municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution. Here on page number 31, I have given list of functions entrusted to municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution. It is not expected that you will remember them all, but if you read them, एक general idea दिमाग में clear हो जाता है. When it comes to municipality, what are the functions they are naturally supposed to perform? Street lighting, gardens, services for old people, डेथ के बाद के जो सर्विसेज है उसके रिलेशंस में सर्विसेज, दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ सर्विसेज. ओके, एक बार पढ़ते हैं. अर्बन प्लानिंग इंक्लूडिंग टाउन प्लानिंग, regulation of land use and construction of building. Where to construct building, you have to always submit the plan, you have to get the permission from the municipality, then only you can do the construction. Planning for economic and social development, roads and bridges, water supply for domestic, industrial, commercial purposes, public health, sanitation, conservancy, solid waste management. पूरा जो कचरा जमा होता है वो उठाना BMC का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता है. Fire services, urban forestry, safeguarding the interest of the weaker section of the society, urban poverty alleviation, provision of urban amenities and facilities such as park, garden, playgrounds, promotion of culture, education, aesthetic aspects, burial grounds, crematoriums, cattle pounds, vital statistics, data रखने का, birth data, death data, public amenities including street lighting, etc. Not expected certainly to remember everything, but one wide reading is solicited. एक बार पढ़ लेना. What are the functions of the municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution? If it is a city, it is municipality, and if it is a village, it is panchayat. What are the functions of the municipality? Article 243W. What are the functions of panchayat? Article 243G. You will find them almost copy paste, but little reference to village specific requirements you will find. There are city में थोड़ा different requirement, village में थोड़ा different requirement, but generally they are one and the same thing. You read Article 243W, which is functions of the municipality. You read Article 243G, which is functions of panchayat. Correct. I was going to talk about that. According to me, that is a lapse. Here, they should have said 243G also. That is a lapse. Constructive, because I was going to talk about it when we read 39 and 40. When we read this portion. But then, इसको पढ़ने के बाद मेरे को समझ में आता है यहाँ पे lapse है, यहाँ पे उसने 243G भी लिखना चाहिए था. Constructively, we read it as 243W and 24. That's not my lapse. That's a lapse when written in the act. It's not there in the act. But we should read it as and 243G. Otherwise it becomes very illogical and it becomes distorted. Before we proceed, here we were going to study 39 number and 60 number, which is given at the top of the page. But before we proceed, can you answer my one question? Security Exchange Board of India, SEBI, is it government authority? For the purpose of these notifications, is it government authority? Please mind you, SEBI is under SEBI Act of Parliament. Now whether SEBI is government authority for the purpose of this notification, and my answer is no, because they are not performing functions under 243W or 243G of the Constitution. Are you okay with that? Normally, अपने common parlance say yes, they are government authority. But for the purpose of these exemptions, they are not government authorities. They are not doing these services. They are different set of services. Are you okay with that? Insurance Regulatory Authority of India, IRDA. Technically they are government authority, but for the purpose here they are not government authority. No. If they are doing these functions, if it is a government company which is under Act of Parliament and which is more than 90% controlled by the government, and if they are performing these functions, then yes, Bombay Water Board, Bombay Municipal Water Board is doing these functions. They are doing distribution of water for citizens of India, which is one of these functions. So it will become, and it is 100% owned by state government of Maharashtra. So it is a government authority for the purpose. I think I have made it very simple. Is it act of parliament or state legislature, or is it established by government, and is it more than 90% control of the government? Yes. And is it doing functions of 243W and 243G, which is not written? Then it is government authority. Only this portion is not written, but logically we read it as like that. Yes, sir. Distribution of electricity. No, not written. Street lighting is different and electricity provisioning is different. Street lighting, municipal corporation takes the responsibility, fix the poles and bulbs, and they pay for that electricity. MSCB will provide, that is different, but street lighting is different. Are you okay with that? So now we will study 39 number and 60 number. Hello, 39 number or 60 number में जो लिखा है, I have presented in a small diagram on page number 32. Very simple thing it is saying, are you government, local authority or government authority, and are you providing these services to anybody, and are the services, are the functions which are entrusted to municipality under 243W or 243G, then they are exempt from service tax. That is what is saying in 39 number and 60 number. ये है conclusion of 39 number and 60 number. Original text of 39 number and 60 number I have given at top of page 31. Conclusion is at page 32. And remember, what is 39 number and 60 number? They are subparts of Mega Exemption Notification 25/2012. Okay, now onwards, whenever I say 39, 40, 57, they are subparts of Mega Exemption 25/2012. Before going for the break, ये last illustration complete करते हैं. And can you answer my question without reading that illustration? Bombay Municipal Corporation is providing service of solid waste management. आपके घर में जो भी कचरा जमा हो जाता है, सुबह गाड़ी आएगा, वो लेके जाएगा. Now, Bombay Municipal Corporation is providing service of solid waste management. For citizens of India, households and individuals, it is free. But if you are commercial premises, industries, shops, malls, it is charged. Bombay Municipal Corporation has provided services to A Limited. A Limited runs a factory in Mumbai. Daily, Bombay Municipal Corporation comes to their shop, their factory, collects solid waste management, goes away. For the month of April 2016, Bombay Municipal Corporation has provided this service to A Limited, whether there will be service tax liability. Amount charge is 1 lakh rupees. Please remember, Bombay Municipal Corporation is local authority. A Limited is a business entity. It amounts to any service provided by government or local authority to business entity, whether there will be service tax liability. But answer is no, because it is 243W and 243G wala function hai, so it will become exempt. My next question, instead of doing this job themselves, what Bombay Municipal Corporation have done? They have created one board. Name of that board, Solid Waste Management Board. Please understand, Bombay Municipal Corporation, they have to perform so many functions. For administrative reasons, what they do, they create separate boards. For water distribution, there is a water board. For solid waste management, there is a solid waste management board. So the point is, Bombay Municipal Corporation has created one board, Solid Waste Management Board. 100% of control of that board is with Bombay Municipal Corporation. This service is not provided by Bombay Municipal Corporation. It is provided by Solid Waste Management Board. Whether still it will be exempt? And the answer is yes, because Solid Waste Management is a government authority. And 39 number and 60 number is applicable to government, local authority and government authority. Please understand the illustration with the answer which I have given on page number 32. Right? So rest things after the break. What we have completed is page 32. we are talking about services provided, and the words used is government, local authority and government authority. Page 32 was about services provided by government and local authorities. But please understand, page 33 and 34 is services provided to government, local authority and government authority. Are you okay with that? Hello, page 32 पे जो पढ़ा था 39 number and 60 number was services provided by government, local authority या government authority. What we are studying on page 33 and 34 is services provided to government, local authority and government authority. Are you okay with that? Some service provider is providing some services to government, local authority and government authority. Entry number 12, entry number 12A, 25 number and 34 number, read the opening lines. They are not talking about services provided by, they are talking about services provided to. So let us read 12 number first. We are certainly expecting questions based on 12 number and 12A, because as you can see there are 2015 and 2016 amendments here. So let us talk about 12 number first. I am on page 33. I am reading entry number 12, which is part of Mega Exemption Notification 25/2012. Services provided to the government, local authority or government authority by way of construction, erection, commissioning, installation, completion, fitting out, repair, maintenance, renovation or alteration of. A is omitted. But what was A? Because it is omitted, we have to understand it. What was A? Civil structure or any other original work meant predominantly for use other than commerce, industry or any other business or profession. As a service provider, I have provided service, construction service, and it is to government, it is to local authority or it is to government authority. And what is the service? It was in relation to some premises which is nothing to do with business or profession. It was exempt. Now it has become taxable. That exemption has been removed. I'll give you one example. I have been given the job of construction of Aikar Bhavan, income tax office. Now income tax office is not the premises from where some business or profession is run. Collection of the income tax is the statutory function. It is not business or profession. So construction of income tax office was the service which I have provided. It was exempt, but effective 1/4/2015 that exemption has been removed. So now if I provide construction service to central government where the construction is of an income tax office, it's a taxable service. Up to 31st March 2015 it was exempt, but from 1/4/2015 it has become taxable. B continues to be exempt. Historical monument, archaeological sites, remains of national importance, archaeological excavation, etc. etc. For example, Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a historical monument. I have provided service of renovation of Taj Mahal. Is it historical monument? Is the service provided to government, local authority or government authority? Continues to be exempt. C. Civil structure meant predominantly for use as educational, clinical or art establishment. Exemption has been removed, but what was the exemption? Bombay Municipal Corporation has hired me. I am going to construct one building and that building will be used as a school. Educational institution, it was exempt. Now it has become taxable. Bombay Municipal Corporation is going to use it as an hospital. It was exempt. Now it has become taxable. Jahangir Art Gallery at Kala Ghoda. Now that is state government, and Kala Ghoda Jahangir Art Gallery ka renovation service hai. It is an art establishment. It was exempt. Now it is taxable. That exemption has been withdrawn. Canals, dam or other irrigation work continues to be exempt. So construction of a dam will continue to be exempt. Pipeline, conduit or plant for water supply, water treatment or sewerage treatment and disposal continues to be exempt. F. exemption has been removed, but क्या था वो? Residential complex predominantly meant for self-use or use of their employees or other persons specified in explanation 1 to clause 44 of section 65B of the said act. 65B 44 was definition of service. उसका clause 1 क्या था? Are you holding your position in the terms of constitution? Are you chairpersons, vice chairman or members of the board established by government, or क्या था थर्ड? क्या था थर्ड? मेंबर ऑफ इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स, मेंबर ऑफ ऑल इलेक्टेड पीपल, वो स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन्स थे, करेक्ट? As a contractor, I have provided service to government and it is going to be a bungalow of Supreme Court judge. It was exempt, now it is taxable. Supreme Court judge is one of the specified persons in 65B 44 explanation 1. So previously, if I am providing service to government, central government, and it is construction of a bungalow which is to be used for Supreme Court judge, then because he is specified person in explanation 1, it was exempt, but that exemption has also been withdrawn. Now I am worried about 12A. एक मिनट, पहले 12A को बनाया कैसे जरा समझते हैं. एक मिनट मेरे स्लाइड के ऊपर फोकस करना. ऊपर जो A था यहां पे A बन गया, ऊपर जो C था यहां पे B बन गया, और ऊपर जो F था यहां पे C बन गया. मतलब जो ओमिटेड है उसको कॉपी पेस्ट किया है, ABC. Now what he is trying to say, let me explain you. I am the service provider. I am providing service to government. For example, it can be government, it can be local authority, or it can be government authority. What is the service? It is a construction service. And what is the construction of? It is a building which is to be used for educational institution. After 1/4/2015, exemption has been removed, but this is the contract which I have entered before 1st of March 2015. This contract I have entered before 1st March 2015, and on this contract document whatever required stamp duty was required, that I have paid. If this is true, this service continues to be exempt. Please understand, construction of a building, construction services may go on for years together. So this construction contract was entered before 1st of March. That time service was exempt service. So when I enter into contract, I have entered into contract with the idea in mind that there is no service tax liability. And when I enter into the contract with the government for construction of that building, appropriate stamp duty was also paid. Construction is still on. Now it is not exempt, it is taxable. But this exemption will continue. Exemption will not be available after 2020. This is 12A. Properly read करना. It is a transitional exemption. अगर important portion पढ़ रहा हूँ, important portion C के नीचे है. Under the contract which has been entered into prior to 1st March 2015 and on which appropriate stamp duty where applicable has been paid prior to such date, provided that nothing contained in this entry shall apply on or after 1st April 2020. मैंने बोला basically वो construction service था. It was construction of a building and it is going to be an educational institution. As you know, after 1st March 2015, the exemption has been withdrawn. But this contract I have entered into before 1st March and I have paid appropriate stamp duty. For that contract, I'll continue to get the exemption. Transitional exemption. Are you okay with that? This kind of question can come. A Limited is a construction company. They provide construction, repair and renovation services. Following are their receipts in the month of April 2017. Are you okay with that? Examiner बोलता है A Limited is a service provider who is providing construction services. Following are their receipts in the month of April 2017. First, in relation to construction of income tax office for central government, 10 lakh rupees. Second, in relation to renovation of Taj Mahal from central government, 20 lakh rupees. Third, in relation to construction of a building for Bombay Municipal Corporation, it is going to be an educational institution, 30 lakh rupees. और इसके लिए एक नोट है, इसके लिए एक नोट है, नोट लिखता है वो एग्जामिनर, contract was entered into on 1st February 2015. Appropriate stamp duty has been paid. What is service tax liability? बोलूं क्या एक बार? A Limited is a construction company. Following are their receipts in the month of April 2017 from central government in relation to construction of income tax office 10 lakh rupees, from central government in relation to renovation of Taj Mahal 20 lakh rupees, from Bombay Municipal Corporation in relation to construction of a building to be used for educational purpose 30 lakh rupees. But ये 30 lakh rupees के लिए एक स्टार है, नोट है, नोट में वो लिखता है this contract was entered into on 1st February 2015 and appropriate stamp duty was paid. What is service tax liability? This will become exempt because of 12 number. This will become exempt because of 12A. This will be taxable. 10 lakh rupees is taxable. On that 15% will be service tax liability. Kind of question. On my site www.idtvaidya.com, whenever you go, you will find this kind of problems with solutions already there. But these one which I take in class are more important over others. ट्वेल्व में देखो ना, बी पोर्शन एज इट इज कॉपी पेस्टेड है. आई एम on page number 34. Again, this is service provided to government, local authority या government authority. बहुत specific exemption है. I am reading 25 number. I am on page number 34. I am reading 25 number. Again, this is service provided by service provider to government, local authority या government authority. 25A, services provided to government, local authority or government authority by way of water supply, public health, sanitation, conservancy, solid waste management or slum improvement and upgradation are exempt from service tax. एकदम specific है. Wherever possible इसको याद रखने की कोशिश करनी है. बट एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. Bombay Municipal Corporation, and there are some dengue patients found in Bombay. Now what is the cause of dengue? The mosquitoes. So Bombay Municipal Corporation has taken up a task that all over Mumbai, wherever there are dengue colonies, wherever there is a stored water, mosquitoes will grow. So wherever there is a mosquito colonies, we have to destroy that mosquito colonies. That's the job. That is the way to get rid of dengue. But Bombay Municipal Corporation does not have enough staff. They have outsourced that job. There is one service provider. He has a lot of employees. He has taken up this job. He said to Municipal Corporation, you give me the chemicals and the machines to spray the chemicals. My staff will go all over Mumbai. They will find out mosquito colonies and will see to it that destroy. And that's the service I am going to provide. For that, you pay me 1 lakh rupees. Now, is it a service provider? Yes. Is the service receiver government, local authority or government authority? Yes. Is the service in relation to public health? Yes. Exempt from service tax. Example. Service has to be specific in relation to water supply. Public by way of, not in relation to, sorry, in by way of water supply, public health, sanitation, conservancy, solid waste management and slum improvement and upgradation. Now I am talking about 25B. State government of Maharashtra owns a vessel, a ship, small motorboat. Why? If you know, they have now started bringing up Dabhol power project. Dabhol project was set aside, usko chhod diya tha. Now we have decided to restart it. So ministers have to go to Dabhol. By going by road, it takes 6 hours and lot of traffic congestion. If you go by sea route, you can reach within half an hour. So State Government of Maharashtra, for movement of ministers and officers, has bought a vessel. Also, they have bought an aircraft. Ministers को बार बार दिल्ली जाना पड़ता है, उसके लिए एक एयरक्राफ्ट की जरूरत है. I am a service provider. I am providing service of repair and maintenance of vessel and repair and maintenance of aircraft. Please understand, I am any service provider. Service receiver is government, local authority or government authority, and service is in relation to repair of maintenance of vessel या aircraft. Taxable. Because word aircraft has been deleted. It was deleted in 2014, but continues to be exempt. Aircraft word is deleted. So this will become taxable, but this continues to be exempt. 25B. Okay. Entry number 34. Entry number 34. Income Tax Office. Regarding that, architecture services are required, but Indian government is not satisfied with Indian architects. They have appointed Hong Kong based architect. Hong Kong based architect has provided services to central government, which is in relation to income tax office. Remember, income tax is not business or profession. Service provider is from non-taxable territory. Service receiver is government, local authority or government authority. And service is not in relation to business or profession, exempt from service tax. यहाँ पे reverse charge applicable होता था. This reverse charge we know. If service provider is from non-taxable territory and service receiver is from taxable territory, liability to pay service taxes on service receiver. We have studied this in IPCC. That reverse charge liability is also exempted. But क्या conditions है? Service provider should be from non-taxable territory. Service receiver should be either government, local authority or government authority. And service should be other than in relation to business or profession. Then it is exempt from service tax. Can you tell me, if this architect was from Jammu and Kashmir, whether still exemption will be available? And the answer is yes. Yes. No, service received from a provider of services located in a non-taxable territory by government, local authority, government authority. नीचे लिखा है ना, एक के साथ पढ़ो, बराबर है, कुछ गलत नहीं बोला. Services received from provider of service located in non-taxable territory by government, local authority or government authority. That is what I said. Okay, here on page number 34, there is one notification. It is latest notification. Look at the date, 22nd September 2016. It is latest notification. Examiner loves asking questions based on circulars and notifications. So this is going to be very important. This notification we are going to study 2 times. Once here and once in one of the declared service renting of immovable property. According to me, this is a very important portion. So, itna idhar relate nahi karta hai. This does not belong here so much. Actually, it belongs in renting of immovable property, but might as well study it here also. What has happened is like this. Listen to my problem. Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation, MIDC. For industrial development in Maharashtra, this is the body. What they do, they purchase land, they acquire land, they create plots, they create infrastructure, electricity supply, water supply, compound walls, security, cleanliness, access to the road, access to the port, access to the airport, nice roads they will prepare, and now you are supposed to buy the plots and start your industrial units. That is the job of MIDC. They help industry set up their industries. So MIDC. Now they have created new industry where A Limited has purchased one of the plot. A Limited has taken the plot on lease. The lease is for 30 years. Exact 30 years ka lease hai. What are the contract terms? Because you are entered into a lease as a salami, you have to pay us 1 crore rupees. Salami is a premium. We have incurred so many expenses and we have created this infrastructure. So part of the cost you have to also pay. One time you have to pay salami premium. They call it salami. Salami matlab shake hand amount. That you have started the new relationship. We have given the land for 30 years. So you pay us 1 crore rupees and we give that plot of land to you. Now you can start your industry. So salami amount is 1 crore and per month rent, lease rent is 1 lakh. This is the contract. MIDC has allotted one industrial plot to A Limited, and for that they have charged two things as per the contract. One time salami you are supposed to pay 1 crore and monthly rental you are supposed to pay 1 lakh. April 2017 MIDC has received following amount: salami 1 crore and April rent 1 lakh. Find out their service tax liability. Find out their service tax liability. Honestly, both this salami and rent amounts to declared service, renting of immobile property. Both, what is the service provided? MIDC has allowed A Limited to use the land for 30 years, and in the compensation terms, salami is received, that is one consideration, and rent is received 1 lakh rupees. Both of them are consideration and service tax is payable on both. But exemption notification says salami exempted from service tax. Examiner question बोलेगा ये notification के base पर. This is examiner will give you this terms. MIDC has issued given one land plot of land to A Limited on lease for 30 years in April 2017. As a compensation amount, MIDC has received salami 1 crore and April month's rent 1 lakh rupees. Find out service tax liability of MIDC. Because salami is exempt, there will be no service tax liability, and on 1 lakh rupees at the rate of 15% will be service tax liability. Examiner बोलेगा wherever applicable service tax will be charged separately. ये सब डिटेल देगा और एग्जामिनर बोलेगा wherever applicable service tax will be charged separately. नहीं तो अपने को प्रॉब्लम होगा, we will have to assume 1 lakh as inclusive of service tax and फिर reverse mathematics से करना पड़ेगा. But no, examiner will say they have received salami 1 crore and rent 1 lakh. Wherever applicable, service tax will be charged separately. Find out service tax liability of MIDC. Based on this notification on page number 34. Have a look at this. तो taxable हो जाएगा. If this exemption is applicable only if lease is for 30 years or more than that. Very clear. This exemption is applicable only if lease is for 30 years or more than that. 29 years and 11 months, it will be taxable. Okay, I'm on page number 35. Again, this is going to be very important because it is circular issued by CBC. And look at the date, 22nd August 2016. So this is very important, but it is very easy. Please understand what we are talking about. I am a service provider. I have provided service to government, local authority या government authority, and service is relation to construction of tube wells. You know, including in Maharashtra, there is droughts, and droughts में problem है water problem, and small villages, towns. What can be done? Tube wells. And it is one of the responsibility. Irrigation to farmers is one of the responsibility of the government, state government, and it is always on their agenda. You must have heard it in the election campaigns. We are going to construct 10 tube wells per village, kind of, So this is one of the things state government needs to do. Service provider has provided service, example, to state government of Maharashtra, and it is in construction of tube wells, whether taxable or exempt. That is the question. And circular is answering that. Circular क्या बोलता है? आप एक बार 12E पढ़ो, आप एक बार 25 पढ़ो, 25A पढ़ो. Please read both the things. Let us read it together. अभी पढ़ा था 12 number on page 33. 12E, I am only reading pipeline, conduit or plant for water supply. 12E का related words जो मैंने copy paste किया is plant for water supply. 25A पढ़ते हैं, page number 34. 25A, services provided to government, local authority or government authority by way of water supply. मैंने खाली एक वर्ड कैच किया, वाटर सप्लाई. पूरे सर्कुलर में ये दोनों को डिस्कस किया है और बोलता है ट्यूब वेल्स आर प्लांट्स एंड ट्यूब वेल्स आर फॉर वाटर सप्लाई, सो दिस सर्विस इज एग्जाम सर्विस. खत्म. आर यू ओके विद दैट? डू यू एग्री ऑन दिस? ट्यूब वेल इज फॉर वाटर सप्लाई एंड ट्यूब वेल इज अ प्लांट फॉर वाटर सप्लाई. खाली एक पॉइंट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन दिमाग में आता है. व्हेन यू से प्लांट, वी थिंक ऑफ अ प्लांट, बिग साइज प्लांट, अ स्मॉल टाइम connection of tubes and a small water pumping machine. Is it a plant? I will only read one important point, which is point number 4, page number 35 ka point number 4. The phrase water supply is a general phrase. Basically it will involve providing users access to source of water. The source may be natural or artificial, like tanks, wells, tube wells, etc. Providing users access to such source will involve construction of the source, if artificial, and transmission of water to the users. It will involve activities like drilling, laying of pipes, valves, gauges, etc., filing of motors, testing, etc., so as to eventually result in the supply of water. Similarly, the word plant has to be understood and interpreted with reference to context. A plant for water supply need not necessarily involve huge assembly of machinery and apparatus for the reason explained earlier. छोटा सा एक machine with the fitting of pipes and tubes is also a plant. Tube wells qualify as a plant. Exemption is available. Reference to 12E, reference to 25A. Please read the circular. Okay. Now we are entering general exemptions. Now onwards, the exemptions we are talking about only talk about government and local authority. Reference to government authority is over. Here I have classified them in some form. First is general exemptions. Entry number 48. Services provided by government, and now it is by, not to. Services provided by government, local authority to business entity with turnover up to rupees 10 lakh in preceding financial year is exempt from service tax. Who is the service provider? Government or local authority. Who is the service receiver? Business entity. But business entity's previous year is less than or equal to 10 lakh rupees. Exempt from service tax. Small business entities को service tax के बाहर कर दिया. But उसमें एक explanation है. For the purpose of this exemption, this exemption is not applicable to 66D A 1 to 3. and renting of immovable property. Make sense? Hello, government, matlab Indian Railway Corporation, has provided the service to RIL, business entity. RIL, wrong, A Limited. RIL turnover is more than 10 lakh crores. So let us assume A Limited previous year turnover is 6 lakh rupees. A Limited previous year turnover is 6 lakh rupees. But what is the service provided? Transportation of goods. Whether exemption number 48 is available? And the answer is no. Exemption number 48 is not applicable to 1, 2, 3 and renting of immovable property. So this will be taxable. 1, 2, 3 क्या था? ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स. थोड़ी रेलवे देखेगा ए लिमिटेड आया बुकिंग के लिए, पूछने का तुम्हारा प्रीवियस ईयर टर्नओवर क्या है? नॉट पॉसिबल, नॉट पॉसिबल. कैसे हैंडल करेंगे इस चीज को? दिस इज नॉट फॉर 66D 1, 2, 3. दिस इज ओनली फॉर 66D 4, एनी सर्विस प्रोवाइडेड. That too not for renting of immovable property. So Bombay Municipal Corporation, hello, Bombay Municipal Corporation has provided service to A Limited. A Limited's previous year turnover is 6 lakh and it is renting of hall for business conference. Exemption applicable or not applicable? Exemption not applicable. This is taxable service. ये जो exemption है not applicable to 66D 1, 2, 3, 66DA 1, 2, 3 and for renting of immovable property. But example, this looks not a brilliant idea, but Bombay means central government has provided service assignment of rights to use natural resources, for which they have charged 10,000 rupees. A Limited and previous year turnover is 6 lakh rupees. Whether this exemption will be available, and the answer is yes. A Limited is a business entity, service provider is a central government, and it is service other than 1, 2, 3 and it is other than renting of immovable property. It is any service other than renting of immovable property provided to business entity, and previous year of business entity turnover is less than 10 lakh rupees. Exemption number 48 will be available. Are you finding it difficult? No. यहाँ पे here there is one terribly wrong. This is terribly wrong exemption. This should be removed immediately. Let me tell you one thing. Central government has provided service to A Limited. A Limited is a newly floated company. If it is A Limited is a newly floated company, it is previous year turnover is 0. And they have given assignment of natural resources 100 crores oil exploration contract. Still exemption will be available. This is not what is solicited. When the bids will take place, government will see to it that no bidder is with previous year turnover 0. It has to be an established company. New companies cannot only bid in the contract. So it doesn't work practically like that. But pure reading से ये एकदम problematic लगता है. It has no application. This should be scrapped immediately. This exemption should be scrapped. But conclusion, we are students, so we will not get into the scrap thing. We have to understand only one thing. Government or local authorities providing any service to business entity. By any service, I mean other than 66DA 1, 2, 3 and renting of immobile property. And if business entity's previous year is less than 10 lakh rupees, because of 48 number, it is exempt from service tax. Are you okay with that? Yes. Now I am talking about 56 number. Again, service provider can be government or local authority. Service receiver should be business entity. And it is 66DA4 service. Amount charge is less than 5,000 rupees. For example, 3,000 rupees. Exempt from service tax. Again, this is not applicable to A, 1, 2 and 3. This is not applicable to A, 1, 2 and 3. But it is applicable to renting of immovable property. But it is applicable to renting of immovable property. कितना समझा है? मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछूंगा, एक बार इसको पढ़ लो बराबर, फिर आप जवाब देना. इधर ही इसको खत्म करने की कोशिश करते हैं. पहले कंक्लूजन ड्रॉ करते हैं. 48 नंबर ने क्या बोला? गवर्नमेंट or local authority providing services to business entity and services other than 66D A 1 to 3 and renting of immobile property and business entities turnover in the previous year is less than 10 lakh rupees, less than or equal to 10 lakh rupees, it is exempt from service tax. Now I am talking about 56 number. 56 number is talking about services provided by government or local authority to business entity, and service is 66D A4 service and amount charge is less than 5,000, exempt from service tax. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? Can you answer my questions please? Post Department providing speed post service to central government. Amount charge 5,000 rupees. Taxable, negative, exempt. Negative. Post Department providing service to A Limited. A Limited's previous year turnover is 6 lakh rupees. Amount charge is 4,000 rupees. Taxable. Not, exemption number 48 is not applicable to D1. 66D A1. Are you okay with that? करेक्ट है ना? दिस इज 66D A1 है, तो इसको वो एग्जम्पशन एप्लीकेबल ही नहीं है. इंडियन रेलवे कॉर्पोरेशन IRCTC मतलब सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विस टू A Limited. A Limited's previous year turnover is 6 lakh and amount charge transportation of goods के लिए 4,000. Taxable, exempt, negative. Taxable because 48 number again not applicable to this service. Central government providing service, the service falls under the category 66D A4 and it is not renting of immovable property. It is not renting of immovable property. A Limited, and A Limited previous year turnover is 6 lakh rupees and amount charge is 5,000 rupees. Taxable या exempt? Okay, make it 4,000. Make it 4,000. 5,000 is also exempt actually. 5,000 is also exempt, but 4,000 exempt. And with 6 lakh rupees है ना, ये 5,000 वाला नहीं. Okay, 8,000 rupees. 8,000 rupees. Is it taxable or exempt? Previous year is less than 10 lakh rupees. So 48 number is available. 48 number is available. Hello, it is 66D A4. So 48 number is available and previous year is less than 10 lakh rupees. So exempt from service tax. Now, central government has provided service to A Limited. It is 66D A4 service other than renting. ये renting नहीं है. And A Limited का previous year turnover है 12 lakhs. But amount charge is 3,000. Now it is exempt because of 56 number. Now it is exempt because of 56 number. But last question, central government has provided service to A Limited. A Limited previous year turnover is 12 lakh rupees, but it is renting of immovable property. Amount charge is 3,000. Taxable या exempt? This is taxable. This is exempt. Again, this is exempt because the amount charge is less than 5,000 rupees. Then it is negative. If it is not business entity, any sir. No, moment it is business entity, it is taxable. Any person. So what you are saying, A Limited है, तो जो भी करेगा वो बिजनेस के लिए ही करेगा वो. A Limited will not do that. Mr. A will do that. No, but then it is for his marriage. So it is not for business. No, but is he taking invoice? Is he paying from A Limited's account or he is paying from his individual account? That will have to go into details. I think if it is a marriage, he knows that there is an exemption for individual. He should pay from his own account. Contract should not be for A Limited. Contract should be for Mr. A, personal capacity, his marriage. ये practical issue है. यहाँ कंक्लूजन क्या ड्रॉ करेंगे? मैंने डिफिकल्ट बनाया, कंक्लूजन बहुत सिंपल है. इफ government, local authority are providing service to business entity's previous year is more than 10 lakh rupees and amount charged is more than 5,000 rupees, it is taxable. Conclusion याद रखने के लिए ठीक है. If it is less than 10 lakh rupees previous year turnover, it is exempt, and amount charge is less than 5,000 also, it is exempt. So collectively I can say government or local authority, I have written that conclusion, government or local authority providing service to business entity and business entity's previous year turnover is more than 10 lakh rupees and amount charge is more than 5,000 rupees, then only it is taxable. एक प्रोवाइजो पेंडिंग है. Provided further that, page number 36, 56 का last proviso, provided further that in case where continuous supply service as defined in so and so clause of point of taxation rule is provided by government or local authority, exemption shall apply where gross amount charged for such service does not exceed rupees 5,000 in a financial year. When we study point of taxation rules, we are going to study what do you mean by continuous supply service in detail. एक बार ट्रेलर बेसिस पे समझते हैं. Continuous supply service means any service which is provided for more than 3 months with regular payment at intervals is continuous supply service, or which is notified by government as continuous supply service. गवर्नमेंट ने दो सर्विस को नोटिफाई किया है, एक है कंस्ट्रक्शन और एक है टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सर्विस और दूसरा है वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विस. We'll call a service this we are going to see. It is written in my book somewhere. It is written in point of taxation rule. That time we'll study it again in detail. आज एक बार ट्रेलर बेसिस. Continuous supply service means a service which is provided for more than 3 months with payment at regular intervals. That is continuous, or which is notified by government as continuous supply service. Government ने दो services को notify किया है, एक है telecommunication service, एक है works contract service. I'll explain this first. I have been appointed as auditor of Mahindra & Mahindra. I started audit on 1st January 2016 and I completed the audit only on 15th of May 2016. I started my audit on 1st January 2016. I completed it on 15th of May. Almost 5 months, 4.5 months audit chala. After audit is completed, I have given the report and I have given my invoice and I am paid my fees. Is it continuous supply service? No, because it is on for more than 3 months, but there are no payments at intervals. Both the conditions should be satisfied. I change my example. I have been appointed as internal auditor of Mahindra & Mahindra for 1 year. Every 3 months, I will complete quarterly audit. I will supply the invoice and I will get my payment. Now, is it continuous supply service? Answer is yes. I have been appointed as auditor for 1 year, that is more than 3 months, and payments at regular interval. Every quarterly I am getting. That will amount to continuous supply service. Mr. A from London came to India. He was in India only for 7 days and he purchased prepaid card of Vodafone. Service provided by Vodafone for Mr. A only for 7 days. Is it continuous supply service? Yes, because telecom service is notified as continuous supply service. These conditions are not applicable. These conditions are not applicable. Are you okay with that? If it is notified, then no condition. It is a continuous supply service. Telecommunication service is always a continuous supply service. Now the question, government has provided a service to A Limited. A Limited previous year turnover is 12 lakh. In finance, and the service is continuous supply service. In FY 2015-16, amount charge is 4,500 and FY 2016-17 amount charge is 4,500. As you can see, gross amount charge is 9,000 rupees. Exempt या taxable. He says if it is continuous supply service, you have to see per year it should be less than 5,000. Proviso क्या बोलता है? If it is continuous supply service, this 5,000 should be per financial year, not all put together. Not happy? Please complete page number 36. Everything discussed. Works contract. Works contract. I am on page number 37. Now we are going to learn some specific exemptions. Specific exemptions. Number 61 and number 62 are transitional exemptions. Why they are transitional exemptions? Look, they are not applicable after 1st April 2016. Something is written about that. We have to understand that. Services, I am reading 61 number. Services provided by government or local authority by way of assignment of right to use any natural resources where such right to use was assigned by the government or the local authority before 1st April 2016. Provided that the exemption shall apply only to service tax payable on one-time charge payable in full or upfront or in installment for assignments of right to use any natural resources. Let us understand this. जैसे कि natural resources exploration of oil का contract था. Who is the service provider? Government, central government. Who is service receiver? RIL. What is the service provided? Assignment of right to use natural resources. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के टर्म्स मैं आपको बताता हूं. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉज फॉर 10 years. What payment you have to make to the government? First is the bid amount. All possible bidders, competitors, you can come and bid for that amount. The largest bidder will get this. This is going to be one-time payment. You want this contract, you have to bid for that. Largest bidder will have to pay the bid amount, whatever the highest bid is. Plus, you have to pay 10% of oil explorer as royalty. You get it for 10 years. First year, you have explored oil worth 100 crores. You will have to pay 10 crores royalty. You have to pay two compensation. One is bid amount and one is annual royalty. Are you okay with that? For example, अच्छा, and bid amount पे करने के लिए दो options थे. Option 1, डाउन पेमेंट. डाउन पेमेंट में जो भी पैसा है इमीडिएटली आपको भरना पड़ेगा. ऑप्शन 2, इंस्टॉलमेंट्स. वॉट एवर इज द बिड अमाउंट, you have to pay in 4 installments. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. 4 installments. Are you okay with that? Now, A Limited, RIL was the largest bidder and their bid was 100 crores. And they have decided to go for option 2. This contract was issued on 1st April 2014. Terms conditions clear. This contract was issued on 1/4/2014. So ये जो 100 करोड़ है वो कैसे पेमेंट करेगा? 1/4/2014 को ही विल पे 25 करोड़, 1/4/2015 को ही विल पे 25 करोड़, 1/4/2016 को ही विल पे 25 करोड़, 1/4/2017 को he will pay 25 crores. Over and above this, plus 10% of oil export as royalty every year he is going to pay. Now I am reading again exemption number 61. Services provided by government or local authority by way of assignment to use any natural resources where such right to use was assigned by the government or the local authority before 1st April. Is it assigned before 1st April 2016? Yes. Are you entitled for this exemption? Yes. Provided that the exemption shall only apply to service tax payable on one-time charge payable in full or in installment for assignment of right to use such natural resources. Hello, ये जो 10% रॉयल्टी है, क्या इसको exemption applicable है कि exemption खाली इस portion को applicable है? Are you getting me? Exemption is applicable only to this portion. This is still taxable. 1st April 2016 के बाद जो एनुअल रॉयल्टी रिलायंस पे करेगा उसके ऊपर सर्विस टैक्स आ जाएगा, बट ये जो बिड अमाउंट के इंस्टॉलमेंट्स बाकी है उसको एग्जाम करके रखा है. एंड पॉइंट इज वेरी सिंपल, जब उसने बिड किया था उसने सर्विस टैक्स को एज्यूम नहीं किया था. 1st April 2014 को उसने जब बिड किया था उसने एज्यूम नहीं किया था. ये जो इंस्टॉलमेंट अमाउंट है, एनीवे ही विल एड इट टू हिज कॉस्ट एंड पास ऑन द बर्डन टू कंज्यूमर्स. आर यू देयर विथ मी? लॉजिकल है ना? मैथमेटिकली लॉजिकल है. ये जो एनुअल रॉयल्टी होगा उसके ऊपर आज वो सर्विस टैक्स भरने वाला है, बट ही विल एड इट टू हिज कॉस्ट एंड पास इट ऑन टू हिज कस्टमर, बट दिस अमाउंट ही मस्ट हैव कंसिडर्ड एज कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर, and while designing that amount he must not have included service tax. So why to penalize him for our fault? That is the logic. So this exemption is applicable to this portion, not to this portion. Very important. Because of that, this kind of mathematical question can come. Please understand the question, please understand the answer. Terms conditions समझाना बराबर क्लियर है? I am calling it transitional because for the contract issued after 1/4/2016 this exemption is not applicable. हाँ, ये bid amount, but now you know कि when I bid, I know if I bid for 1000 crores I will have to pay 1150 crores, so I will take that in my cost. Sir, if bid amount is 1000 crores, what is my liability to central government? After 1/4/2016, if bid amount, single installment 1000 crores, what is my liability to central government? 1000 crores, and under reverse charge service tax also I'll have to pay separately 150 crores. This is, we are talking about 66D(a)(4), any service provided to business entity other than renting of immovable property, reverse charge is applicable. We have already studied that. Are you okay with that? I am on page number 37. I am reading entry number 62. If you remember, from 1st April 2016, from 1st June 2016, declared service 1 addition is there, spectrum rights, correct? So from 1st April 2016 it has become a declared service. What about before that? Entry number 62. Services provided by government or local authority by way of allowing a business entity to operate a telecom service provider or use of radio frequency spectrum during the period to 1st April 2016 on payment of license fee or spectrum fee usage charges as the case may be is exempt from service tax. So we know that it's a declared service and it's a taxable service, right of spectrum use from 1st April, but before that it was a exempt service. Transitional exemption hai. Please also read in the homework the discussion on page 37. I think I have already explained it in the class. Next is very simple. Now some simple exemptions. Page number 38, exemption number 54. Hello, is government or local authority a business entity? Is government or local authority a business entity? Yes. Now what will happen if government or local authority has provided service to another government or local authority? It will amount to government or local authority providing to service to business entity. It will become taxable. That was one of the questions somebody asked. Exempt 54 number. I am reading 54 number. Services provided by government or local authority to another government or local authority is exempt from service tax. Hello, but I have one question. Indian Railway Corporation, matlab central government, has provided service to BMC. It's a local authority. But service is transportation of goods. Amount charge is 12,000. Whether 54 number is applicable, and the answer is no. 54 number is applicable only to 66D A4. प्रोवाइजो में लिखा है. इंडियन रेलवे थोड़ी पूछेगा जाने के, मतलब वो बीएमसी का ऑफिसर गया, कौन है रे तू, बीएमसी ऑफिसर, कार्ड दिखा, ओ माय गॉड आई एम प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विस टू लोकल अथॉरिटी एग्जाम फ्रॉम सर्विस टैक्स. ऐसे होगा क्या? उसके पास टाइम नहीं है. सो 66D A123 को ये एग्जाम्शन नॉट एप्लीकेबल. प्रैक्टिकल है. क्या बोला 54 नंबर में? व्हेन सर्विस इज प्रोवाइडेड बाय गवर्नमेंट और लोकल अथॉरिटी टू अदर गवर्नमेंट और लोकल अथॉरिटी वेयर सर्विस इज अदर देन 66D A123. मतलब वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडेड ऑफ 66D A4 exempt from service tax. Page number 39, general exemptions है. We have to remember them as it is. Services provided by government or local authority by way of issuance of passport, visa, driving license, birth certificate or death certificate, exempt from service tax. Please understand, if these services are provided to non-business entity, they were negative services. This is any service. This is what? Any service other than 1 to 3 above. So this is, if provided to non-business entity, it was negative, but this is exempt if it is provided to business entity. So Infosys wants to send bunch of employees to USA. So they have applied for visa on behalf of employees. Service provider is passport office, service receiver is Infosys business entity. निगेटिव नहीं है, टैक्सेबल है, बट एग्जम्प्ट हो जाएगा. बिकॉज इज इट इन रिलेशन टू, नाम याद रखना पड़ेगा, इश्यूएंस ऑफ पासपोर्ट, वीसा, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट, डेथ सर्टिफिकेट, एग्जम्प्ट फ्रॉम सर्विस टैक्स. एंट्री नंबर 57 was the one I was talking about. Hello, central government has given a contract to A Limited. A Limited is a construction company and contract was construction of a bridge. Contract amount was 100 crores. 100 crores contract. But उसमें एक clause था, you have to complete this work within 12 months. If you don't complete it within 12 months, per month you will have to pay 10 lakh rupees as penalty. A Limited was able to complete it only in 14 months. So they have paid a penalty of 20 lakhs. Is there any service provided in this transaction? Answer is yes. It amounts to 66E, small e, declared service, passive service. we have tolerated your act of not fulfilling the terms of the contract. This will become a passive service. Passive service is normally declared service under section 66E small e and taxable service. But whenever passive service is provided by government or local authority, it is exempt service. Who said that? 57 number. क्या बोलता है 57 number? Passive services provided by government are exempt from service tax. I already discussed this. '58 number. Services provided by government or local authority by way of registration required under any law for time being in force. Hello, income tax paid, there is no service. But for example, under Immovable Properties Act, under Stamp Duties Act, if you are buying or selling some properties, you have to pay appropriate stamp duty and register it with registrar. This is a function of state government. When you go, you pay stamp duty, it goes to state government, and registration fees also goes to state government. Does it amount to service? The answer is yes, because service provider is state government, service receiver is business entity. If it was non-business entity, individual, it is already negative. But suppose property is purchased by Reliance, state government, Reliance. What is the service provided? Registration of your property. We will change our records. In our records, we will change from the previous owner name to your owner name. We will register the property in your name, and for that you are paying us registration fee of 30,000 rupees. It will amount to service, and service tax will become payable. Do you remember this? If any activity is done by the government for which fees is charged, it will become taxable. It's a service provided. But is it registration required under some act? You are getting registered because of you want to fulfillment with some compliance of some act, exempt from service tax. बोलता है services provided by government or local authority by way of registration required under any law for time being in force. Was registration sought to comply with some provisions of the act, exempt from service tax. Testing, calibration, safety check, certification relating to protection or safety of workers, consumer, public at large required under any law for time being in force. Hero Motors have launched a new bike. Before they are allowed to sell that bike in Maharashtra, they have to get PUC certificate from RTO. If that is environmentally hazardous, if that vehicle is going to cause pollution, RTO will not allow registration. First, you have to get a PUC certificate. For that, there is a laboratory, government laboratory. Testing will be done. For testing, Hero Motors will be charged 20,000 rupees. We'll test your vehicle and then we'll certify that it is PUC compliant. So there is a service provided. Government, Hero Motors, testing and certification 20,000. But was that testing for complying with some rules and regulations, some laws, exempt from service tax? Please understand 58 number. Last two exemptions to be studied. I am on page number 40, 59 number. 59 number पढ़ो एक बार. Services provided by government or local authority. So, service provider should be government or local authority. What is the service? Assignment of right to use natural resources. And service receiver is a farmer, agriculture. Understand, farmer is doing agriculture, which is business. So, he is business entity. Farmer will become business entity. Service provider is government or local authority. What is the service provided? Assignment of right to use natural resources. Actually हुआ ऐसे है, farmer का farm है, but उसका जो water within the farm है not adequate. Nearby one river is flowing. farmer wants to source some water from the river, allowed, but he will have to pay some amount to panchayat. For sorting the water from the river, you can put up your pumps there and you can have a pipeline also. You can sort some water, but for that some nominal amount you will have to pay to panchayat. So that will be local authority. Service receiver is an agricultural farmer, which is a business entity. What is the service provided? Assignment to use, right to use natural resources. Is it in relation to agriculture? Is it in relation to agriculture? Yes. Exempt from service tax. For falling into this exemption, there are so many conditions. Read all those conditions. First of all, service provider should be government or local authority. So what is the service? Assignment to use natural resources. Who is the service receiver? Farmer. And is it in relation to agriculture? 4 conditions. Then only this exemption is available. So farmer, if he has applied for oil rigging and he gets this exemption is not applicable because it is not in relation to agriculture. There is a small coal mine in the village and farmer got the rights to extract coal. This exemption is not applicable. Which are the 4 conditions? Service provider is government or local authority. Service receiver is a farmer, individual farmer. A large public limited company doing farming activities, exemption is not applicable. Individual farmer it has to be. What is the service? Assignment to use, right to use natural resources. And if it is in relation to farm, 4 conditions. It has to be individual farmer. The last exemption, number 63. Here some reference to customs is required. You'll listen about this again when we learn customs. What happens is like this. I am person in charge. I am bringing one vessel. I am captain of the ship. I am coming to Mumbai port. I want to do unloading of the goods. In Customs Act they have written unloading of the goods has to be done only on custom working days. Only in custom working hours. Monday to Friday or maybe Monday to Saturday. Monday to Friday it is 10 to 5 and Saturday it is 10 to 2. No, all bank holidays. So वहाँ पे लिखा है if you are captain of the ship, if you are coming to Mumbai port, unloading has to be done only on working days, only in working hours. But if you want to do after working hours or on holidays, you can do that by paying some extra fees. And that is called as merchant overtime fees. What is merchant overtime fees? If you want to do unloading of your goods on holidays observed by custom department or after working hours, you have to pay officially little extra. That is called as merchant overtime fees. But that will amount to service because service provider is port trust authorities, which is government. Service receiver is a business entity, shipping liner. What is the service provided? Unloading of the goods after working hours, and for that MOT paid, merchant overtime fees, exempt from service tax. Otherwise MOT के ऊपर service tax आता था. So this amount which is charged for unloading of the goods on holidays or after working hours, on that there is no service tax liability. 63 number. Anybody, shipping company, foreign shipping company, they will have an agent or they will pay electronically. Now they are able to pay, no problem. Shipping companies na jo bade shipping companies hai, normally they will have representative office in the port. It's a Australian shipping company. They will have an agent or an representative office. They will pay. Please complete all the exemptions. Find on page number 41 and 42 some summaries we have to try and remember all the exemptions. Because it is so important for May and November, it is worth reading on examination day also. Very important portion करके ये mark करना है. Something more needs to be studied. Another 2 pages of government service is pending, but so many exemptions. And I say that you should be able to revise it in 45 minutes. One method I can suggest you to remember this, and that is called as footnote method. Matlab, you should write it on your foot and go to the examination. Okay. Some reference to point of taxation rule is required. In one of the lectures, hello, negative service के बाद में we are going to learn point of taxation. Please understand, service tax is very interesting. ये 2-3 services है negative service जो voluminous है. बाकी सब point service tax याद रखने वाला issue है. मतलब उसमें volume नहीं है, उसमें खाली fundamentals है. So bear with me for this lecture and tomorrow where there is content बहुत ज़्यादा है. बाद में खाली concepts है पूरे. Okay. So point of taxation rules we are going to study in one of the lectures. But here on page number 43, what we are reading is point of taxation rule. Rule 7. First, let me tell you what Rule 7 is talking about. If you are, I'm on page number 43. If your liability is under reverse charge, point of taxation Rule 7 is applicable. Are you okay with that? I'll explain you what point of taxation Rule 7 is saying. Service provider has provided service to service receiver. Service is provided on 10th of April 2016. Invoice is issued on 12th of April 2016. Invoice is like this. Service charge 1 lakh. And service provider says you have to pay me only 1 lakh. Why? Because this is 68(2) service. Liability to pay service tax is on you. नीचे note लिखेगा invoice में. Because this is 68(2) service, you don't have to pay service tax to me. You have to pay it directly to central government. आगे की कहानी सुनो. Service receiver has paid to service provider on 15th of May 2016. I am reading Rule 7 of Point of Taxation Rule. Notwithstanding anything contained in other rules, point of taxation in respect of person required to pay as recipient, that is under reverse charge, shall be date on which payment is made. Is your liability is as service receiver under reverse charge? Yes. Then this rule will override all other rules. क्या बोलता है? Notwithstanding any other rules. मतलब if your liability to pay service tax is as service receiver under reverse charge, then provisions of Rule 7 will override all other rules. पहले opening line का मतलब समझते हैं. Opening line he says, notwithstanding anything contained in other rules, the point of taxation in respect of person required to pay as recipient. एक बार वापस repeat करूंगा. If your service tax liability is not as service provider, but if it is a liability as a service receiver under reverse charge, then for you, provisions of this rule, rule number 7, will override all other rules. So for you, Rule 7 is applicable. And in that case, what is the answer? Point of taxation shall be date on which payment is made. When the payment is made? 15th May. I said service receiver has paid 1 lakh rupees to service provider on 15th of May. Point of taxation is 15th of May. Service is deemed to have been provided on 15th of May. Service receiver will have to pay service tax on 6th of June. Do you agree? If service is provided in the month of May, you have to pay service tax on 6th of June. Are you okay with Rule 7? मैंने प्रोवाइजो पढ़ा नहीं, खाली बेसिक रूल 7 पढ़ा. Anybody not comfortable with this? Okay. Provided provided that where the payment is not made within period of 3 months of date of invoice, point of taxation shall be immediately following the said period of 3 months. Hello, for 1 minute forget that payment is made on 15th of May. 3 months are over from date of invoice. What is date of invoice? Hello, 3 months are to be calculated from date of invoice. 3 months are over from date of invoice. I think that event is 11/7/2016. 11/7/2016 has arrived and yet you have not paid. Point of taxation is 12/7/2016. Next day. That means service is deemed to have been provided in month of July. You will have to pay your service tax on 6th of August. Are you okay with that? We have learned rule 7 of point of taxation. Some provisos down are to be learnt, but basic rule 7 we have learnt. क्या लिखा है rule 7 में? एक बार repeat करते हैं. If your liability is under reverse charge as service receiver, this rule will override all other rules. For you, point of taxation is date of payment. But if 3 months are over from date of invoice and yet you have not paid to service provider, point of taxation is next day to the expiry of 3 months. एक बार यहां तक आ जाओ, फिर आगे बढ़ते हैं. Anybody has any doubt about this? Yeah? Okay. Hello. We have completed portion up to here. These two provisos are also important, but they are not belonging here. They are not related to government service. Whenever we study point of taxation rule 7, we'll study them. Not a problem. But today this is very important for us because this is related to government service. But before we study that, एक बात बताओ मुझे, गवर्नमेंट सर्विस एंड रिवर्स चार्ज होता है? किधर होता है? 66D, एक बार याद दिलाता हूं, 66D(a)(1) क्या रिवर्स चार्ज होता है? नहीं होता है. 2 क्या रिवर्स चार्ज होता है? नहीं होता है. 3 क्या रिवर्स चार्ज होता है? नहीं होता है. 4 रेंटिंग ऑफ इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी क्या रिवर्स चार्ज होता है? नहीं होता है. अदर्स होता है. एक बार ये याद करो कि गवर्नमेंट सर्विस और रिवर्स चार्ज का पॉसिबिलिटी कभी है. हेलो, पोस्टल सर्विसेज नो रिवर्स चार्ज, vessel and aircraft services no reverse charge, transportation of goods and passenger no reverse charge, any service provided to business entity, renting of immovable property no reverse charge, anything else reverse charge. पहले तो यहां पे हेलो, यहां पे अदर रूल लगेगा पीओटी का, यहां पे अदर रूल लगेगा, यहां पे अदर रूल लगेगा, यहां पे अदर रूल लगेगा, यहां पे रूल 7 लगेगा. आर यू ओके विद दैट? रूल 7 ऑफ पॉइंट ऑफ टैक्सेशन लगेगा कब? ओनली ये पॉसिबिलिटी में रूल 7 लगेगा. पहले ये समझो, फिर मैं आगे जाता हूं. ये लिखा है मैंने यहां पे लिखा है. ये जो बाकी के पॉसिबिलिटीज है, अदर का मतलब है अदर पॉइंट ऑफ टैक्सेशन रूल्स लगेंगे. ओके, हैविंग सेड दैट, नाउ government or local authority has provided service to business entity and it is assignment of right to use natural resources. Are you okay with that? This is 66D(a)(4 other than renting of immovable property. ये reverse charge वाला issue है. Contract amount is 100 crores. That's also no problem. इसका मतलब है service tax liability is 15 crores. That's also not an issue. And we have also understood liability to pay service tax 15 crores will be only on business entity. That is also no problem. यहाँ तक सब ठीक है? ठीक है. But now, as per terms of contract, this 100 crores is to be paid on 1st April 2017. Option 1, business entity has paid on 15th of March 2017. Option 2, business entity has paid on 15th of May 2017. एक बार रिपीट करता हूं, सर्विस प्रोवाइडर गवर्नमेंट है, सर्विस रिसीवर बिजनेस एंटिटी. What is the service provided? Assignment to use natural resources. What was the bid amount? 100 crores. As per contract, due date of payment 100 crores was 1st April 2017. Option 1, business entity has paid to government on 15th March. उन्होंने due date के पहले पे कर दिया. Option 2, they have paid it on 15th of May 2017. Hello, normally this is liability of business entity under reverse charge. So liability, point of taxation, point of 7, point of taxation rule 7, what was he was saying? Date of payment. So 15th March or 15th of May, but no, proviso is applicable. Provided also that in case service provided by government or local authority to business entity, is service provided by government or local authority, is it provided to business entity? The point of taxation shall be earlier of the dates on which any payment is made or due date of payment. Hello, normally rule 7, point of taxation is date of payment. But if it is service provided by government of local authority to business entity, point of taxation is due date of payment or actual date of payment, whichever is earlier. So option 1 में it will be 15th of March and option 2 में it will be 1st of April. एक बार पंचलाइन रिपीट करता हूं. Normally if your liability is under reverse charge, point of taxation rule 7 is applicable and point of taxation says date of payment is the due date. But if it is service provided by government or local authority to business entity, point of taxation is due date of payment as per the invoice or contract or actual date of payment, whichever is earlier. Please complete page number 43. So option 1, it will be 15th of March and option 2, 15th of May or 1st of April, whichever is up earlier, so 1st of April. Yes, always. We'll learn that better when we do point of taxation. That will be covered in rule 3. What your question you ask will be covered in rule 3. Now I am on page number 44, which is the last page actually for government service. Here what I see is valuation rule 6.2. I am sure you know from where I must have copy pasted it. You see chapter number 9 valuation, which starts on page 205. एक बार देखते हैं ताकि बुक slowly बुक से रिलेट हो जावे. Page number 205 valuation chapter starts. There is section 67 and then there is service tax valuation rules on page 207. Rule 1, 2, 3, 4. Then page number 208, 209 is rule 5 and page 210 and 211 is rule 6. 6.1 देखो, 6.2 देखो, 6.2.4 देखो. Are you able to see 6.2.4? And 6.2.4 there is one amendment in bold effective 13th April 2016 and that is in relation to government service. So I have copy pasted it on page number 44. You got it? I got it from page number 211. What I have copy pasted on page number 44 is actually service tax valuation rule 6.2.4, which I have copy pasted from page 211. Anyway, when we study valuation, we are going to study this in order and we are going to read this thoroughly, but एक बार trailer basis. Chartered accountant has provided service to client, service receiver, and देखो chartered ने invoice दिया. My service charge is 1 lakh rupees. Service tax is 15,000. 1,15,000. normal charge wala service hai, he has charged, you already know, I am not going to talk about it again and again. 15,000 matlab 14,500 500, okay, 15,000 1,15,000, and invoice mein chartered ne likha tha you have to pay me within 3 months. If you pay me within 3 months, it is okay, otherwise you have to pay with interest at the rate of 1%. 3 months में पे करो तो ओके, अदरवाइज लेट पेमेंट करोगे तो विथ इंटरेस्ट पे करना पड़ेगा. फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन सर्विस रिसीवर कुड नॉट पे इन टाइम, he paid only late, and so he paid with interest. For example, he paid 1,18,300. You must understand what is this 1,18,300. 1 lakh was value, 15,000 was service tax, and 3,800 is interest. The question is whether interest will enter the value. Consideration for the services if it is paid late, and that is why if service receiver has paid any interest, whether interest should enter the value. And basic 624 बोलता है, 624 बोलता है interest is not for the reason of service, it's sort of financial arrangement, so interest should not enter the value. No service tax on interest. Who said that? 624 नॉर्मली बात किया. गवर्नमेंट के बारे में कुछ अलग बात करता है, मैंने नॉर्मल बात किया पहले. उसमें जो प्रोवाइजो है दैट इज ओनली फॉर गवर्नमेंट, आई हैव नॉट डिस्कस दैट. नॉर्मल बात किया. Normally, interest paid for late payment will never enter the value. Who said that? 624. Please understand that. Then I will talk about the proviso. Okay. Now, I am talking about government, and I am going to explain that with the help of one example. Government has provided the service to A Limited. A Limited is a business entity, and what is the service? It is assignment of use natural resources. मतलब 66DA 4 वाली service है. As per the contract, the largest bidder will get this contract. There are many bidders. The largest bidder will get the contract. If you are the largest bidder, option 1, whatever is the bid amount, full payment immediately. That is the option 1. And option 2, you have installment facility, 4 EMIs, equated yearly installments. Contract is for 10 years. Whatever is the bid amount, जैसे कि for example the largest bid is 1,000. A Limited got that bid. So A Limited के पास दो options है. एक 1,000 rupees down payment करो. Then you will have to pay actually 1,000. If you go for full payment, you have to pay 1,000. 4 equal installments में जाएंगे. Now you will have to pay 300 into 4 is equal to 1,200. Now that you are paying in installment, you will have to pay some interest. You will not pay now 1,000 rupees. You will end up paying 1. If you add the installment, you realize that 1,200 is paid. That means 200 is towards interest. Just now I said that interest paid for late payment will never enter the value. But एक बार proviso पढ़ता हूँ. Provided that this clause shall not apply to any service provided by government or local authority to business entity where payment for such service is allowed to be deferred on payment of interest or any other consideration. So first year 1, 300 is paid. Year 2, 300 is paid. Year 3, 300 is paid. Year 4, 300 is paid. If this would have been any other person, we would have said value of taxable service provided is 250. And on that we would have calculated service tax liability. But is it service provided by government or local authority to business entity where deferment was allowed as per the contract? Keyword hai, as per the contract, deferment was allowed subject to payment of interest. Then interest will enter the value. Service tax at the rate of 15% will be payable on 300 rupees and not on 250 rupees. With a very good example, I have explained this concept again on page number 45. In the homework you can read that, but same concept. यहाँ पे मैंने बहुत easy करके दिया, वहाँ पे with breakup and with lot of figures I have explained this concept, but concept remain the same. If you have understood this, you need not read page 45. The point is very simple. Normal, अगर ये normal SSC होता था, what would have been taken as value? Value would have taken as 250 rupees. Because interest is not part of the value. But is it service provided by government or local authority? Is it service provided to business entity? Is it obviously 66D A4 wala service hai? Then value includes interest. Subject to condition, deferment was allowed on payment of interest as per the contract. ये भी एक condition है उसमें. एक क्वेश्चन का आंसर देना. महानगर टेलीफोन निगम लिमिटेड, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया अंडरटेकिंग ने ए लिमिटेड को बिल दिया टेलीफोन का 3000 रुपीज का, एंड ए लिमिटेड पेड इट लेट, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव पेड इट विद इंटरेस्ट 3200, वेदर 3000 और 3200. 3000. This proviso will not be applicable for normal services. This will be applicable for these kind of services. 66D A4 wale services. Are you getting me? It is not written here, but it means that. It means that for sure. It's not written here, but logically it means that.